Did you know that the ADF, which is the Allied Democratic Force,
There we go.
that was created, as you say, in northern Uganda? Did you know that it was by former military officers loyal to former strongman Idi Amin?
Hello and welcome to the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Bruce.
My name's Gareth.
And we talk about things.
We just don't know where they're going to go. I have survived 2 6-day weeks.
2 6-day
Hold
weeks.
on. Work weeks. Sorry.
6-day work weeks.
Oh, wow. 2 6-day work weeks. How's that?
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yes.
So the last 2 weeks, I've worked for 6 days per week. Okay, that makes more sense.
Well done.
Thanks.
That's a good thing.
No, because I think I told you I'm going to be doing my car repairs / upgrading a few things but I need about
Yeah, you need
let's
to
just say a few grand.
Yeah, you need to
I
hammer
don't
it
want
out.
to tell myself how much I'm spending, but this is why I'm working. I don't work weekends because it's just painful.
Yeah.
So in total, I work 67 hours a week, but I'm going to be working the Saturday for another 4 weeks, and then I basically would have saved up enough over 6 weeks to fix up a few little things here and there, and then to pimp my ride a little bit.
Nice.
Pimp.
Doing the work, man.
Yeah,
Doing
so
all that.
it's tiring, but if you have a reason for doing it, then you make it work.
That's cool.
Speaking of cars, my mum got a new car,
Wow.
a Suzuki,
Which one?
a red one.
Jeez.
I don't know. Because
I should have known better than to ask you.
Because my mum's original car, which was a Hyundai Getz, that's now been taken by my brother-in-law's brother.
So your brother-in-law.
Because their car was taken away by the bank. What does that mean? It
repossessed.
Was, yeah, dude, because they've lost their job and everything. Imagine you getting to a point, in fact, I don't want to, where you get your car repossessed.
That sucks. So
because of this whole virus thing, and Workwise is gone, and so they had their car repossessed. So then my sister and brother-in-law, they then, spoke with my mum if she would mind them having that car.
yeah,
And then they got her a brand new Suzuki.
very nice. So you're
yeah.
So we're basically saying that your brother-in-law's brother,
Yes. Now has my mum's car.
he gets the Hyundai.
Got nothing from me. That's for the.
I thought that was.
That's for
really,
our latest. That's for our upcoming episode. But I still wouldn't have laughed.
I thought it was fantastic. I'm laughing for both of us.
Good. Speaking of bad jokes, I was thinking maybe we can tell people what our next episode is going to be, based on the fact that you had an idea that we were going to get people to give.
Yes. Okay. So we can tell them about.
Well,
it.
yeah, because then at least we'll have like a week or so of people thinking of ideas.
Yes.
At least. Yeah, exactly. And then we can work out once the episode's finished who won and who lost.
That's a good idea. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep score on that one.
Yeah. So what is it?
So basically, our next episode, which is actually episode 41, because this is episode 40.
Actually, it's going to be 43. If this episode goes longer.
Oh, flip, yes. Oh, we got that.
But yeah, sorry, let's go back. Episode 40.
Yeah, we're episode 40. We need to clink glasses
Why?
because it's episode 40. No, not those glasses, Gary. Look at him, man.
Yes, John! Bing!
Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Sure. No. It's so
This
good.
is probably...
Clinking a glass of Pepsi
Or
over a
Pepsi
pop
just
soda.
makes the glass sound even nicer.
I know it does. Pepsi.
Not a sponsor. Yeah, so we're going to do You Laugh,
So
You
we
Lose.
you laugh, you lose. So lame jokes,
And they have to be bad jokes, which in general kind of makes sense for us both.
lame and bad jokes between us, and whoever laughs
The most
gets
loses. Yes.
So we were gonna think, okay, maybe the loser buys the other guy a bottle of booze, or it's a dinner or something like that. But we thought, let's put it out to the audience and go,
Yes.
what do you guys suggest?
That was your idea, actually. I like it.
What do you guys suggest? What does the loser do?
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
So yes, put your ideas even now on the comment section
Yes.
underneath this episode, because then we'll have a look and see what you guys are thinking.
That'll be awesome.
Yes. Absolutely.
Cool. So, coming back to us, having some liquid refreshment.
Yes, Bruce.
You won't believe this.
What, Bruce?
Well, firstly, we don't believe that there can be someone as beautiful as Sofia Vergara. And we need to say, and we basically need to say thank you to Pepsi.
Actually, you're right.
Not a sponsor.
No.
Yet.
Keep on going.
Because Pepsi was responsible for Sofia Vergara's very first acting job.
God bless them.
I know.
Every bottle.
God bless them, every bottle. So yeah, and you can go and find her on a Pepsi advert. It's in Spanish.
But people aren't really
It
going there.
ran in South America.
And not really going there to listen to the Spanish, let's be honest.
No, and she was only 17.
God bless them.
So if you want to go and see what Sofia Vergara looked like when she was 17 in a purple bikini, you're welcome. And yes, you are welcome. Our pleasure.
Yes.
Go for it.
Exactly. We found that human gem.
And she said that the commercial made her famous, and it was one of the reasons why the company approached her again to be the spokesperson for Diet Pepsi in 2011.
Clever.
I know.
Huh?
Very.
But we actually did try the diet one. No, wait. That was the zero one. The zero Pepsi we liked you, but that was way too sweet. The middle line, and that's probably the middle that we like, the sugar-free or something like that.
I'm still a fan of the original
Pepsi.
It's kind of like the original Pepsi is kind of like the book.
Yes.
And Pepsi Zero is the movie that they make of the book. The book's always better.
That's right. Correct. I like.
It's like the original flavor of Romany cream biscuits.
Mm.
They're all nice, but the original one's always the best.
The one I don't like is the peppermint one.
You suck. Go. You know what? You can just leave because the peppermint
Really?
one's awesome.
No,
But the original's still better.
I like the original. In fact, I only know them as those two flavors.
There's another one.
Are there more? Like a nutty thing or something?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Only get the original.
Yeah. In fact, I don't even think that I've had them for ages.
No, neither have I actually.
Romany creams, not a sponsor.
It's Pepsi and Romany creams. This could be good.
Oh, this is going to be good for our bellies, yeah.
I think adding one more to the trifecta.
Yes, is
I think Doritos.
Oh yeah.
Or Pringles.
No, I'm a Doritos fan.
Doritos, Pringles. Yeah.
I've never seen their whole thing about Pringles.
I enjoy Pringles.
Besides the shape of them, I guess is funky, but apart from that, I'm like, they don't really taste to what you would think such a big label and name was.
I gotta be honest. The Pringles that I enjoy, they actually brought out a corn chip version.
Really?
So Doritos are corn chips.
I like Doritos.
So they've brought out a Pringles corn chip, and they are good.
Really?
They're good.
Have you ever tried, which I've seen on the adverts, because I don't. It must be bloody expensive too, by the way. It's like $30 a thing or something stupid like that.
What? Pringles?
A Pringle can. They're not cheap.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, where they said that you could like mix all their flavors into one little sandwich because they're all shaped the same way.
Oh.
And you could make a sandwich out of the creamy onions and
I'm sorry, but
onions.
I've actually have to
cheese or something.
I have to eat Pringles one at a time. I can't have like two at a time. I have to have them. You have to savor them once, one at a time.
So dainty.
Yes, I know.
Lovely. But that's okay. No, I don't. If I'm going to make chips, then I do it via the frozen chip way. Although I must say you can't really get it to a level. Although I do use a Stairs sprinkles, not sprinkles. Stairs, yeah, sprinkles.
Yes.
Stairs.
And those Stairs chips are something else.
I don't buy Stairs. It's like $50 or $60 for a burger.
Yeah, I know they're pricey. So just buying the chips was not too bad, and now I discovered that my local Steers was now closed down. So that's
that's very helpful.
it's very disappointing.
Thanks a lot.
Nice one, guys.
Damn right.
Anyway,
Yeah. So we're moving into our topic that you'll see on the header, so to speak, of our. Did we actually say? Yes, we did actually. Sorry, I was thinking it's number 40, but we already clinked glasses, so it's
yes,
fine.
we have.
It was more like a letdown. Like, okay, let's carry on. Yeah. So it's going to be all about this is number 2 in our series. I think we said 4.
Yeah.
4 different topics, so forth, in our series, which is basically about human rights.
Human rights abuses organizations in certain countries that think that they can just come in and impose their will on innocent people and then cause those innocent people to either be killed, displaced, become refugees.
Yeah. Also, I would say, because the last one that we did the thing on femicide recently.
Yes.
And that's... What the hell are they doing outside? Wow.
They're puppies. It's fine. You can do that.
Wow. Sorry, I'm being taken off here. Sorry. So you were saying, yeah, but then we also spoke on femicide,
yes,
which is not specifically, a rebel force coming into...
No, that was just a...
But there was a... So what I was trying to say is that it's a mix of what you just said now,
yeah,
alongside just
I think
the basic human rights that are being destroyed,
due to
manipulated,
due to religious and political
and the ideologies. So that is probably the thing that runs over all of these.
Yeah,
which I know that you're going to speak about.
Yeah, we'll have a chat about that a little bit later.
Yeah, cool. So,
Yeah.
so this one is the ADF.
ADF.
So we laugh because I got them mixed up, the AFD, and I'm like trying to work out, like, why are we doing a podcast on the Australian Defence Force? But
No, you thought AFD.
Oh, sorry, the AFD.
Or I said, you know what? It was my fault.
You said that.
I should take responsibility.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Because when we started talking about this episode, I mentioned something to you that I'd heard on the news about the AFD.
That's right.
And you came back and said, no, they're actually a pretty good organization. And then
Yes, that's right, I did.
And then you said, oh, wait, dude, you
flipped the letters around.
Letters around,
the one is good, doing good things with human rights, and the other one that we're going to talk about are the complete opposite.
They're the bad guys, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background. The ADF, or the oh my word, I've gone. Drawing a blank on the.
Drawing a blank on the ADF.
Yeah.
You carry on, Bruce. That's very disturbing. No, I'm
yes,
kidding.
it is.
Well, move on. Carry on, and I'll tell you.
I'm so sorry. That's embarrassing.
Let's go.
They are an Islamic group that formed in Uganda in the early 1990s, and they're actually also one of the least understood, because they're so secretive and no one can actually. There's not a lot of details about what they actually sort of want to do or why they're doing it, but research has sort of given us a couple of little hints into what they're looking for. So basically, what they're trying to do is establishing Sharia law in the controlled territory around the border of Uganda and now in Democratic Republic of Congo, which is now where they're based.
Okay.
They do try and go into Uganda every now and then, but they're mainly in the DRC. And so they're basically trying to create an Islamic caliphate, which is a state, an Islamic state.
That's right.
And that, in the area that they control. So in March 2021, so very recently, they were designated as a terrorist organization by the US.
By the US, that's right.
And they do also have ties to ISIS.
Yeah, that came in over the last year or so, where I think it's the last year or two, where up till then they didn't take any, ownership of it. And what ISIS does is, I won't say much about it, but as soon as has a very large amount of deaths, then it says, oh, by the way, we are now taking, full ownership of what's happened. So up for a very long period of time, there were discussions. Sorry, these dogs. I'm going to go out and ask ISIS to come over the wall quickly. Anyways, the point being that ISIS do not take ownership of something unless it shows them, unless people see the wanton destruction of people.
Yeah.
Then it steps in and says, okay, now we're going to say, now this is us.
Okay.
Did you know that the ADF, which is the Allied Democratic Force,
There we go.
that was created, as you say, in northern Uganda? Did you know that it was by former military officers loyal to former strongman Idi Amin?
Right. Yeah, so their leader, their main leader, up until 2015, was a guy by the name of Jamil Mukulu.
Yep.
And then he was subsequently arrested. They found him. And then now their current leader is Musa Baluku. And he took over the leadership. He was also a very early. He was one of the earliest members of the actual ADF as well.
ADF, yeah.
He was quite high up in the leadership, and he took over. Apparently, Mukulu did try to sort of still keep his leadership position even while he was in prison, but Baluku was able to sort of oust him properly and now took over. And basically was also responsible for radicalizing the organization even more from an Islamist point of view.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. What have you got?
Did you know that the ADF is one of an estimated 122 armed organizations that roam the eastern DRC?
That's scary.
122 armed organizations.
That's, yeah, and
the legacy of two regional wars that ran almost back to back was from 1996 to 2003, and it claimed millions of lives. That was a whole nother genocide. And the DRC's Catholic Church, they said that the ADF is suspected of killing 6,000 people since 2013. So over the gap of about eight years, they've killed 6,000 people. Yeah, that's what is one assessment was about 6,000 over 8 years.
Well, like I said earlier, it's difficult to understand what their motives are.
Yeah.
But after the research that I did, I think it's pretty simple.
Which was?
They just basically they're just trying to impose their will over everybody that they come across, and doing it by force and violence and intimidation, which is never a good thing.
No, that's a hallmark with all of these people who are against human rights. Speaking of hallmarks, what is one of theirs? The ADF, what they're known for, is they attack. For example, they would attack a remote village, massacre its inhabitants, burn everything down which they can do, and then abduct survivors. And they basically move through, a township or a vicinity like that.
Yeah.
Pretty much like ants, like like those. Did you watch the original MacGyver?
Yes, I remember that episode.
Now, do you remember with those ants? They just kept on moving. Those like firehead ants. I don't know the name of the ants, but they were badass.
Yeah, and just
like everything in front of them, they will just
everything.
wipe.
Yeah,
and that's what the ADF does. They will go through a whole area. They will loot, trash, burn, do whatever they need to do. A lot of the time, they come at night time.
Yeah.
And they hide in the bushes, and then they move through and they just shoot and chop basically, and that's how they do it. So yeah, it's the word I'm looking for. It's basically a blitz. What is that called? I think we spoke about it in our last one actually. We spoke about the one in the Rohingyas, where it was a blitz, where they would just come through and wipe everything out.
Scorched earth.
Like a scorched earth thing.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what they do.
Yeah. So from research that has been conducted, it seems like they want to align with and have ideologies similar to organizations such as Al-Shabaab,
yeah,
Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Boko Haram.
Wow.
I
think that's pretty clear what they want to do.
And something very scary is that I've heard they've even had sort of recruitment drives in South Africa, which is...
Really?
Well, I found that little tidbit of information.
How?
I don't know. But it doesn't seem... It still doesn't seem like they're actually a very, very big group. They're actually fairly small in numbers. I think they're only numbering possibly a couple of hundred. But I could be wrong. But they were for a long time a very quite small organization, which is probably also helps to make them easy to find, make them hard to find.
That's why they've done so well.
Because they're just a
bad
small
way.
Yeah, because they've.
Well done, guys. No,
keeping your numbers small, I'm
impressed. I mean,
you've really done well with the
minority, you guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Keep your numbers down. Don't recruit anymore. You're doing fine. Jesus. They also base very strong emphasis on violent and radical interpretation of the Quran.
Yeah.
And that gets scary when you're taking a religious document, doctrine, book, and subscribing to it absolutely, literally, wholeheartedly. That's
terrorism at the bottom line.
That basically,
that is rash. I have this problem with the podcast. Outside the podcast, I know my words. I'm freaking... I feel I'm relatively intelligent. When the podcast's on, I saw you going to say...
I was going to agree with you.
I was waiting. You were like... but when it comes to thinking of words like at the moment that we're recording, radicalists, thank you.
Yes. And also involved in indoctrination of children. And creating child soldiers.
Child soldiers.
So also, moving into an area, killing adults, and then abducting all the children when they're still at a young, impressionable age. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what we saw on what many people, if you watched Blood Diamond.
Yes.
They did that.
Yeah.
And then they would drag up. I don't know how true it is with like every area of children soldiers. Yeah. Maybe they have. Where in the movie they were drugged basically.
Yes.
And then they would only get their hits, after doing, like after they had them going out and marching and and killing.
Yes.
Then they got their next drug kind of thing, and that's how they. I don't know if that's across the board, but I would imagine that's definitely a big part of what happens with children soldiers.
I do know that one of the narcotics that they do chew and stuff is something that's called chat, or they call it chat or something. It's a plant. It's a herb. It's a plant based, and it gives them It gives them a high and stuff like that. It makes them feel invincible. And
it's interesting because when I was in Kenya,
yes,
that was a part there, but I don't think it was that strong. But I would see like a lot of people. I'm chewing, what looked like a grass stick or something like that.
Okay.
And it was linked to that, but it definitely wasn't to that high extremity.
Okay. All right, then.
No. I'm saying the one that the children were on. I think either it's stronger or it's something else.
Okay. Yeah. I have I don't think a podcast is a serious podcast is complete without a quote from Bruce.
Go.
Because Bruce loves his quotes.
That's fine. I like quotes.
The main bad guy, I can't remember his name from the movie, but from Lord of War, he said to Nicolas Cage, who's a dictator in an African country that Nicolas Cage's character was selling arms to.
Yeah, we spoke about this in the Rohingya one.
Yes,
I think I know what you're going to say.
He said a bullet from a 14-year-old is just as effective as a bullet from a 40-year-old. Sometimes even more so.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, it was one of that quote always sticks out in my mind from that movie, and yeah, he had child soldiers and all that. So basically in late 2013, the Congolese army launched sort of an operation against the ADF.
Yep.
And this sort of sparked a lot of the ADF's massacring of innocent people. Basically, because as repercussions.
Yes.
Against being attacked. Okay, right. So the army attacks us. So we're not going to go and attack the army. We're just going to go and attack the innocent people. But they did. They either believed that the locals were collaborating with the government, or they were just basically unbelievers who could then inform on them. People who didn't believe in Muslim faith or whatever like that, and they decided, okay, well, we can't have that.
Yeah.
And they rolled in. So yeah, what have you got on that?
I have, my screen's gone blank.
Oh dear.
So if you can continue, I'll wave my hand when I have what I need.
Okay, cool. So I started having a think about ideology and when does it actually become violent? Because we've all got beliefs.
Correct.
We've got things that we believe in. Sometimes, some of our beliefs are quite hardcore and we stick to those no matter what. And when an idea or an ideology or whatever, when it starts demanding unconditional allegiance, often through violence and intimidation, that's when things get a little bit more hectic. When it's like when you have a certain belief and you start enforcing it, just through, you think that the only way to do it is by hurting people around you and enforcing your will like that. And then someone who's indoctrinated is then able to justify irrational behavior and believes they're actually doing the right thing, in inverted commas, according to what their beliefs actually subscribe to, basically.
Yeah.
And political and religious ideologies are probably the most prominent.
That's pretty much the prominent ones. Yeah.
I mean, it's either religious or it's political. We've got some other ideologies happening, but not to that extent just yet.
I've got a picture in front of me that shows two soldiers with the ADF. One is holding what's probably an AK-47, and the other one is holding a rocket launcher.
Okay.
Well, that in itself, running around with rocket launchers, which shows that they are being... I mean, the question is where do they get all these weapons from, but if they are running along ISIS, I guess. But I mean, my point is that they're not just running around with a pistol or a knife. They're running around with a rocket launcher. And this is now coming from the United Nations. And I'll just read you a bit of this stuff. So and this is fairly recent actually. A series of brutal attacks against Congolese civilians by Islamic militants are possible war crimes, United Nations monitors said. 18 months of attacks by the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, have killed more than 1,000 civilians, in the UN Joint Human Rights Office says. In the majority of the cases, the means and the modus operandi of the attacks indicate a clear intention to leave no survivors. That's pretty hectic. Entire families have been hacked to death, it said, adding that attacks may amount to crimes against humanity and war crimes. According to the report, ADF extremists used assault rifles, mortars, machetes and knives against villagers. The fighters have burnt down schools, health centers, and kidnapped women and children looking to recruit them. The presidents of the DRC deployed about 22,000 troops to the border with Uganda about late last year to root out the ADF and to destroy their bases. But the UN report also accuses the Congolese security forces of serious human rights violations in their campaign against the ADF.